Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse as all of you may know me. This is the Zelda mailbag for the 63rd episode of the Hylian Gamescast. Here with us is Ilya above me, Chibalima to my left, and above her is the one and only handsome Daniel.
Hello.
So today in the mailbag, we're going to be answering a lot of really great questions sent in from you guys, but sometimes we just don't have enough time to answer everyone's questions. So you can head to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can get a lot of really cool rewards, such as shout-outs and guaranteeing your questions to be featured on the show, or giving us your own discussion topics to talk about, just as Jacob, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Vortex, Gus, Justin, That One Pancake, Key of Time, Monica, Casey, Link Use the Triforce, Megan, Lunarium, Robbie, Shadow to Us, Rusty, and Lovable Christy. I do need to update that list though, which will be done for the next week's podcast. So, yeah. And our first question comes from
Pulsoda's phone.
Yeah.
What was it?
Because I can't bring out the Discord
Snow
because
Bunny?
it's on my video. Yeah, it's
Snow Bunny.
so
Snow Bunny.
comes from Snow Bunny and Princess Snow Bunny, because they have two accounts on the Discord.
Oh, they are the same person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's okay.
now this is kind of long, but there's some good stuff here. Says, my question is, Zelda Twilight Princess was made for the Wii, and then they put the same game for the Wii U with no motion controls. So I think they should do the same for Skyward Sword Zelda for the Switch, like they have both motion controls to choose from, like they should put in the game. Like, choose no motion controls, or have motion controls. I'm not a fan of motion controls because of the sensor bar keeps lagging, which is something that I seen someone else mentioning earlier. It was Pierre Schneider, I think, the co-owner, co-creator of IGN. Because of the Skyward Sword rumor, he went back to play Skyward Sword on the Wii U because they had ported the game to the Wii U, and he had said that they really need to fix the sensor bar. But then obviously there were a bunch of people commenting saying they had no problems with the sensor bar, which I didn't have any problems. But anyways, now moving on to Breath of the Wild for Wii U and Switch, I think they should put a third DLC. I would like to see the DLC for Breath of the Wild be where anyone that can play as Zelda, the girl, and any of the champions, because modding can be hard on people. Especially for me, because I don't have all the stuff for modding, and I don't know how to mod in video games. I do have a Wii U. I really want to play as Mipha. She's my favorite. I love the Zora in all Zelda games, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess. I just think that'd be so cool. I've been playing Zelda games ever since I was like 10 years old. I'm now 24. By the way, I would like to also mention my birthday is February 14th, Valentine's Day, which is kind of awesome. Let's see, my order of playing Zelda is Ocarina of Time Zelda on Nintendo 64, 2 Majora's Mask on Nintendo 64, 3 Twilight Princess on GameCube, 4 same with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on GameCube as well, so I guess that's the Zelda Collector's Edition, although Ocarina of Time did release a few different times on the GameCube for the Wind Waker pre-order stuff with Master Quest, also Twilight Princess on Wii and Wii U, and finally Skyward Sword for the Wii, Wind Waker, Hyrule Warriors for Wii U, and last, Breath of the Wild. And I know I say I don't like motion controls that much, but what's really funny is I love playing Skyward Sword. I love this game because 1, Master Sword at the end of the game gets fully powered. Love that every time I do a Skyward Strike on enemies. 2, get the fully powered Hylian Shield in the game. 3, from 1 to 10 minutes, I'm a 5 for flying around in the sky. Okay, yeah, so she's really quickly in the game. When you start out, you can start flying on the Loftwing. Very beautiful color graphics, just colorful everywhere you go in the game, just so pretty and very bright, and I love that. So yeah, mainly 2 questions there. Skyward Sword, should it be remade with motion controls, or should they completely remove the motion controls like they did for the Wii version of Twilight Princess that they brought over to the Wii U? And second, we've answered this a few times, but what sort of DLC would you like to see for Breath of the Wild? They want DLC where you could play as Zelda. Presumably a lot of people would like to play as Zelda while she's going through her all of the past memories, where like she literally has to get them to like carry Link's dead body to the that's another thing, is like, how do they get him up there? How do they carry his dead body on top of the Great Plateau that's like hundreds of feet? Well, I guess they have the Rito.
Yeah.
You just throw them.
you just throw him.
Goron throw.
Potatoes.
It's like the
Yeah.
what is it? Is it the
He's not
Whomping
heavy.
Willow tree?
He only weighs
in
8.5 apples.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Whomping Willow.
Yeah, so like they just
Yeah.
get the Deku tree to like bend back and launch him to the Great
Well,
Plateau.
It's possible the building that's like there on the Great Plateau was not fully destroyed by the time they brought him to the shrine, and it may have been because it was in like everything was in chaos at that point, so it may have been destroyed. The entrance to get to the Great Plateau may have been destroyed after he was in the shrine.
Touche,
Possibly?
because there are like guardian ruins, like ruined guardians up there and stuff, right? So
That was my guess.
yeah.
Can I also just throw out there that the Deku tree has a very thick trunk? I really
yeah,
hope
it
it doesn't
does.
try to bend backwards.
He's too old to do that. He'd throw his back out.
That's one thick trunk on that tree. But can I also say they did not completely remove motion controls from Twilight Princess
Oh, yeah,
HD.
it has
And
the
Wind Waker HD.
gyro.
That's the gyro aiming. So they left in the motion controls in the best way possible, while taking out the carpal tunnel. So
Didn't you have the option? I mean, again, I haven't
Right.
played Twilight Princess HD yet. I thought you had,
Mhm.
I could be wrong, the option to do the original, like GameCube, or
Mhm.
the mirrored
you can
like,
do that,
Wii.
and
Okay,
you can
that's what I
toggle
thought.
that. You can toggle also the gyro controls, so you can actually technically take motion controls completely out and use only just thumbsticks. But everything takes so much longer to aim without gyro.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
phenomenal. It's a way better. But yeah, I mean the thing with Twilight Princess, it's the best version because you have all the options. You can even change the aiming point of view. So you can change whether, like, if Link aims with his bow, if you aim in the first person or third person. I just love, like, it's just those tiny details. I'm like, I love that you have those you can change those preferences, because
Yeah.
yeah, because people who grew up with the GameCube version or the Wii version might have different perspectives of what feels good and what doesn't. So the fact that you can just customize it like that, that's primo stuff.
Also, something that annoyed a lot of people on the GameCube version. There's a lot of people that played it to where it just
Lack
didn't
of-
feel right.
Lack of equipping items.
On the GameCube version, the C stick controls were inverted. So when you play it on the Wii U, the C stick or the right analog stick acts like the complete opposite, and there is no way to change it.
You
Oh.
can't change that?
No.
Really? Okay.
So-
Now, see, I played the Wii version and then not really.
No,
the
Wind
GameCube
Waker.
version. So and Wind Waker. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Wind Waker to
Oh.
Wind Waker HD. They changed the
Right.
control stick. But yeah, that's just a random thing.
That is weird, but yeah, I mean, it's I think it's more based on the GameCube version for Twilight Princess, but then I think they have like a lot of the elements for the Wii version, including the widescreen. But yeah, the GameCube version, there actually are some things that irked me about it, because this is putting a big date stamp on this. I rented the GameCube version from, it wasn't Blockbuster, but it was Rogers Video, and played that first, and then I bought the Wii version because we had just got a Wii. And the GameCube version, on the Wii version, you can equip 4 items at a time. One is like on your A button, and the rest are on the D-pad. In the GameCube version, you have the X and Y button. That's it. Because for some reason, talking to Midna is mapped to the Z button. Whereas like the previous GameCube Zelda games, previous GameCube Zelda titles had a third item mapped to the Z button, or Z for you Americans. That just irked me because it's like you have a D-pad you could use for this, and they didn't because they're like, oh, the map controls, which no one cares about. Plus the HUD, because it's not in widescreen, the HUD really clutters the screen. If you look at a screenshot of the game, version 5 is like 90% HUD. And you've got like this narrow field of vision. There's too much HUD.
Do you remember the Skyward Sword HUD on the Wii?
Also too much HUD. It
has the entire Wii controller on the
side.
It has
the Wii remote on the side. It's like as soon as you can turn that off, just turn it off. Too much HUD.
Yeah.
That's why I love Breath of the Wild.
It has like
HUD,
the professional mode to where it clears it out.
Yes. That's why I like Breath of the Wild's HUD. You can just like it's so small. You know, it's so out of the way, but useful.
Such a good game.
Unrelated. Daniel, you've had a request from Zach.
Oh.
Bring forth your shield. He wants to know more about it. I said it's plastic.
Oh, it is plastic.
He just wants to know the size. Put your hand up by it so they have a... Yeah, oh. That plastic shield. Okay.
It's a good size. I think on a previous last week maybe.
Yeah, it was last week.
Talked about me getting this for Christmas along with the Master Sword there, and how I thought it was a guitar. First, it was really weird, and I was like, I don't play guitar. I don't know why they bought me this guitar.
They're trying to tell me something.
I just saw the shape of it. I just saw like this shape in wrapping paper. Right, and I was like, "What the hell is this? Some kind of guitar?" And I picked up. I was like, "This really like light guitar. Like, what the hell? What is in this thing? What is in this tiny like guitar shape?"
That's too big to be even a ukulele.
It could be a banjo.
It's an extra large ukulele.
Kayla, you wrote "oh plastic" in the chat, and I read it as with the tone of "oh banana."
You did the same thing I did.
Plastic.
Oh, banana.
So, one other thing, someone commented on the last video because we kept on talking about the cosplayer, because I was mentioning like the only real metal shield that I've ever seen, because you can buy the ones on eBay, but they're made out of like resin and stuff, like a resin mold, and then they're like cheaply painted or whatever. But she had one that was like actually made out of metal, and the metal was colored to look like the real Hylian shield. But she recently made a new Skyward Sword Zelda Link, not Zelda, Skyward Sword Link cosplay, and it was like, I remember the first time that I came across her cosplay, I was like, I'm questioning my sexuality because she looks like a dude, but she looks like a chick, and Link's looking really attractive, so I don't know what's going on. But
you know, because you're constantly asking me to take my shirt off when I'm streaming, I'm also questioning.
Yeah.
I'm just but he does say it's for science, so
it is for science.
I
but it's Sophie Reese. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's like a popular for her Link cosplay, because she has
it's a real good cosplay too.
Yeah, she has really good cosplay.
And then she made a video on my my channel a long time ago where she like goes over how she like puts on. It's really weird seeing like a chick start putting on makeup to make themselves look like a dude, but she does it, and she talks about how she made the tunic and everything.
It's the power of a good contour.
So
what were the two questions we were answering?
Anyways,
Skyward Sword.
So yeah, I mean, I would be down for them. And I think I've said this on previous podcasts as well. I would like to play it and use motion controls, but I think they should make it optional because of the accessibility, and because I think people are just frankly turned off by the idea of motion controls, even though they're good in some cases. Not always good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games just are like shake it.
So
the
waggle.
The waggle, or get your carpal tunnel in there. But a lot of the times, like the way games like Splatoon use motion controls are like super good, super good. The way Breath of the Wild uses its motion controls, super good. So make it optional, but you can't use like the Pro Controller and like the gyro for sword swings, of course. But you can still, I think, map it in a way that if you have button presses in time with thumbstick movements, that you can make directional things, because you could do that in Ocarina of Time. I've mentioned that before. So if the N64 could do it, Switch can do it. So,
Easily.
Yes, that is all. Thank you for attending, everybody. Have a good night.
Going back to cosplay, can we have a tutorial of Tubes doing her Waluigi cosplay?
Doing my Waluigi. Funny, actually. So yesterday I was snooping, and I found a professional photo taken of me in my costume, and I just thought it was the most hilarious thing.
No way.
Show us. Where is this? Where's this photo? Where? Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome!
Right?
I love it.
How long did it take you to grow the mustache?
It took me about 5 hours.
You must have to shave often. Every hour, on the hour.
But in relation to the question that we were answering,
yes.
What is it? What was her?
Skyward
Princess
Sword. How do you want it on the Switch?
Because she said get rid of motion controls
Yeah.
completely. What's our opinion on that?
So for me, this is really weird because growing up, like I never had an issue with motion controls, and I always thought it was really weird when I would have friends. And they're like, "I'm so bad at this. I can't stand. I blame the controls." And I was like, "Dude, like, there's nothing wrong with them. You just suck at what you're doing." And so, like, I never had a problem with motion controls. But when it comes to like potentially bringing Skyward Sword over to the Nintendo Switch, people are talking about how like you won't be able to take it on handheld mode because of the motion controls. And for me, that's like, I haven't put my Nintendo Switch in a dock in a very long time. Like, I think it's probably been a couple of months now. Like, I only do it when I go over to Cameron's place. Other than that, it's strictly handheld. I beat Breath of the Wild handheld.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I way more often play it in docked mode because I love my Pro Controller to bits.
I don't have the time to sit in front of my TV and play video games. That's why I do handheld, because I'm always like on.
That's the beauty of the Switch, man.
See, that is it. That is it. Nintendo got us.
Yeah, they got us.
You can have it both ways.
So with the controls, there are 3 ways I think they could do it. Now, I have used this. It's stuck. This I can't bring it up anymore. This controller to play through Skyward Sword on the Dolphin emulator, to where you just use this right stick to swing the sword. You move the stick left, he swings the sword left. You move the stick up, he swings the sword up. You click the switch or the stick, and he does the sword beam thing. You move it in a circle, he does the spin attack.
How do you do the vertical spin attack? That's the magic of Skyward Sword Link. He can do a spin attack like in a horizontal way, and he can do a vertical spin attack somehow.
You can. It's weird. I don't know why it does it. You hold R2, and then you press
D2.
Up. And then I forgot what it was, but there was something that you could do because you could program it any way you want. So I had to program my own special way. But there was one where I think you did the jump attack to where like he stabs, what was it called in Twilight Princess?
That finishing blow.
Yeah,
is that one where you jump?
You click the left and the right stick at the same time, and then he does the stabby stab to kill the spiders when you knock them on their back.
Okay, but can I also mention how the vertical spin attack makes no freaking sense? You have to do a standing front flip while spinning your sword, but like somehow you can't just do like the flip. The sword has to go 360 degrees around you. Like how does he accomplish this from a standing position?
Yeah,
Magic.
Magic.
Yes. What are they teaching these guys at this Knight Academy?
Yeah, for real.
Crazy stuff.
Some real crazy next level stuff.
But yeah, so yeah, Illy, your turn. I was just that's how I did it on my controller.
Yeah. As far as moving the motion controls to the Switch, I do think that definitely needs to be an option. As in, it needs to be the option to turn it off, but also it needs to be there. Because a point I've been hearing a few people make, and I agree, is that Skyward Sword was kind of built for motion controls. That's what they wanted to focus on with Skyward Sword, whether you liked the motion controls or not. So to take them out would be kind of weird because that's kind of what the game is centered around. It's centered around that gameplay mechanic. And I think it would be, because a lot of people complain like about the motion controls, and I'm like, well, one, you might just be bad at it. Like, I complain, or I not really complain, but my frustration is I'm left-handed, and it felt weird to swing my left hand and have it go right, and I couldn't coordinate myself right-handed. That's not something I blame Nintendo for, though. That's just me being left-handed. Whereas there are tons of other left-handed gamers that had no issue with it. So it's just me. So I have no right to complain about that. And we know that the motion controls would be even better on the Switch. No matter how much you hated them, even though you were just uncoordinated or you forgot there's a calibrate button, it would be better on the Switch. No, I don't know if not having a sensor bar might make it worse in a certain degree, but the other reason why there needs to be an option for it to play without motion controls would be for portable gaming. That might be a reason why. But also, someone brought this up, maybe people who are handicapped to a certain degree, they can't get up and move around maybe as much, and it's easier for them to just sit and play normally. And then there's left-handers like me who are just weird and uncoordinated with my right hand. Sorry. So I'm
Mr.
the
Will
lesser
in the
of
chat
that,
also
but
said they were left-handed. So there are others with you, Ilya.
yeah. But like I said, there were some people that were left-handed that said they were totally fine playing it right-handed. And I'm like, I'm just uncoordinated, and that's fine. And I'm okay with that. And I know that's just me. Or that's just an issue I have. So I think it is important to have both for those reasons. I don't think they should just get rid of motion controls because, again, the game was centered around that. And I don't know. It seems like it would be weird to not have it because that's the gameplay mechanic it was centered around. And this is just me. I don't think they would do this, but I would love a third option in which the game is mirrored, like they did for bringing Twilight Princess to the Wii, so that you can do it left-handed. And one might be like, yeah, but left-handed people make up 10% of the population, and that's not, we don't know how many gamers are left-handed. If anything, it might just offer a challenge. Just be like, now try playing Skyward Sword left-handed and mirrored. I just think that'd be funny, but it would make life easier for me. But so that's a random third option that I would love, but I don't think would actually happen. So yeah, that's my opinion. Don't get rid of the motion controls, but do have the option to not do it.
I don't think they even have to mirror the whole game. Like, I don't know why they can't just mirror just Link.
Well, I guess I'm thinking because Twilight Princess, they did end up mirroring the whole game, but I guess they probably have the technology now to make it so you don't have to.
But see, that's the thing is, like, when they did that with Twilight Princess, I was like, why didn't they just mirror Link? Like, that just seems like so much less work than flipping the whole game and changing all of the dialogue where it says east instead of west and west instead of east. Like,
That's true. I didn't even think about the fact they had to do that.
Yeah, they did. And there's because I remember there's dialogue in it where it's explicitly will say east or west. It's just it doesn't make sense to me that it just feels like they're putting more effort into it. And if it's an issue with like fighting enemies because of like their shield placement or something, I think like they should make it so that you have to flip Link and the enemies, but leave the worlds like intact. Like, I don't know, Nintendo. Maybe they just took the easy route out or not. I don't know. I'm not a game developer, so. But that would be a better option.
There was just a simple button that it was just flip game. It could have been one of those things, but they probably
they're like,
would have
finally we have a use for this button.
It's like the self-destruct button. We have a use for it now.
Finally,
they can bring the Z button back on the very back of the controller to just flip the game.
Oh my gosh, that would be weird. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it from a left-hander. But I make up a very small minority of that. So,
well, there The chat is saying left banana
What?
wins.
You're the one saying left
But
banana.
others-
and I was
others-
like, I'm a right banana. And they're like, oh, bye, right banana. Sorry,
Only left-handed people are in their right mind.
See,
'cause
Abigail says
your body's
left-handers.
controlled by the opposite side of the brain.
funny actually. In my training group at work, there's actually a majority of people that are left-handed. So you're not alone.
If they
We die
made,
earlier, unfortunately, though.
what if they made the game out of a banana?
Don't put a banana in
Banana
your
patent. Don't mind if I do.
Oh, the banana patent.
No, Zelda and Donkey Kong collab.
Oh no.
No.
Oh,
So
banana.
I'm not gonna mention it because I want to make the video because I don't want someone else to steal it. And I've been talking about it for a long time.
Okay,
Yeah, you guys probably know what it is.
tell us in the chat.
Well, I've already mentioned it on a previous podcast. It's about bananas disappearing and then showing up somewhere else.
Type it in the chat. I have
Yeah.
no
Are we doing
idea.
another question?
Yeah.
Wait, there's another part to her question, though.
Oh yeah, the Breath of the Wild DLC.
Oh, well, I have my answer to that,
All right.
I guess. I would love more DLC, but don't make me play as someone other than Link. My reasoning? Here's my reasoning. Because what's the point of playing as Link? He is a link between the character and the world, and those other characters are already their own character. You make Link who you want him to be. Those characters are already set. I would like to play them in spin-off games like Hyrule Warriors and things like that, though.
Mm.
That's the way I'd want to play them. But I'm totally open to more DLC, though.
I was gonna say, I
And-
feel a little bit weird
yeah.
playing as like Zelda. Like, as much as I love Zelda, I just feel like what does she really do?
Would you go read
Which-
books
which
about
game?
frogs?
Yeah.
In
I agree. I want to stay as Link though, because like when in other games where you like switch characters partway through, there's like a huge disconnect, and I feel like it should,
Yeah.
like you basically would go into this DLC and would like give up all of your inventory and all your progress and stuff to play like a little short thing. It just defeats the purpose for me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was different in Majora's Mask because you got to play as other races, but that was because you were
Right.
still Link and you
You're
had a
still
mask
Link.
on.
You're still and that was just more of an extension of Link's abilities.
yeah.
Rather than a totally new character. So I just feel, I don't know. I am satisfied with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I've played through the game 3 times, and I feel like okay, I'm okay with moving on now. Like I might
1800
do another
Koroks.
playthrough later, but I ain't doing that. But but yeah, no, I just feel like I'm okay with no more DLC. I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. To be
I'd
honest.
play it if it came out, but
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not going to
I
be
would.
like, oh, no more DLC.
I'm not pining after it though, you know.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah, I'm more excited for a new Zelda game than I am for
Yeah.
Yeah.
DLCs.
But there is like, I made the comment that before I would have said there was like a 1% chance that we would get new Breath of the Wild DLC, even if it was something small, like just adding in like the Xenoverse gear that they added to like promote Xenoverse, to where it's like, hey, here's free DLC, go get this armor in this random place. Like here's just like a random quick side quest.
Those things are fun, but I never use them. Like none of that stuff is useful. Like
Yeah.
I still end up using the Champion's Tunic because you
Yeah.
can't even upgrade that stuff very much. Like, or the ones you can upgrade them once. And it's like, okay, well, I can wear this thing and it gives me like 4 or 8 protection or whatever, or I can wear the Champion's Tunic which gives me 32. So it's a pretty obvious choice here. So
But,
yeah.
So before I would have said there was a 1%
Sorry.
chance, but
I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. I always interrupt you guys on purpose, accident. Anyways, I don't know. But the president came out a few weeks ago and said that he wanted to put new DLC in already released big games, and that made me think maybe like Nintendo's team could be hard at work on the next Zelda game, but then they could just have like a smaller team of like 10, 15 people work for like a couple of months to bring in more DLC for Breath of the Wild. So Aonuma could be like 100% focused on all of these new games, while there's like the side team that's working on more Breath of the Wild stuff, because it was like 200 people from the Xenoblade team were hired to work on Breath of the Wild. So since the last Xenoblade game came out, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then they had like 5 different DLC packs for it, they could just take one of those teams that was working on some of the DLC for Xenoblade and be like, hey, you know how to make DLC because you made DLC for your game, and they likely also worked on the DLC for Breath of the Wild because they worked on Breath of the Wild. So they could just get that game and be like, hey, make this quick new Shrine Guardian dungeon thing. And then they do that and then launch that. And then Aonuma literally has to do nothing because, yeah, like he literally would have to do nothing because he would have already came up with all of the designs for the divine beasts that were left out. Like if you look in the one book, there's like a bunch of weird divine beasts that were just taken out of the game. So they could just be like, okay, since Aonuma already approved of these designs, we can just take one of them and put it in the game. And then that's that. So there is like that 10% chance that you get more DLC from Breath of the Wild, but that's still super duper low. I imagine he may have been talking about Breath of the Wild because he did say big games that had released, and Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest games that has released. But he could have just as easily meant like Mario Kart or Pokken Tournament or Mario Odyssey, which I expect later this week to get Mario Odyssey DLC announced and hopefully like real multiplayer to where you're not just finding Luigi's balloons. You can actually like play 2-player together instead of someone getting carpal tunnel from wiggling a hat.
I need to finish that game. I always stop playing right before a boss. Even though they're easy bosses, I get so much anxiety before bosses.
I had such a hard time.
If I die, I'll just do it again. But I get so freaked out that I stop playing. I think the one I'm at right now is the first time you go up to Bowser's ship and he's in the white tux and everything. The first time you go to fight Bowser, I just froze and I was like, I can't do this. And that was like 2 weeks ago or something.
You have to make sure you have fairies in your bottles and some potions, and then you can get through the boss easier.
That doesn't exist.
What?
That's only in
I
Zelda.
think you're confused. I think that's the wrong game, man.
That's Zelda?
I did find a way to defeat Phantom Ganon through a tiny little glitch in the Forest Temple.
Oh, really?
That way, like, because I always would freak out about finding him in the painting, and I figured out a way to never get shocked by him if I can't get to him in time. You know the poles that, I don't know if it's one specifically, because I always went to the same one, but you know how, like, it's poles with, like, ropes in between them or gates in between them? Go right to the edge of one of those poles, and the shock doesn't affect you.
That's really cool.
I don't know if it's one specific one because I think I went to the same one every time, but I noticed whenever I went there, it was like, because the arena, if you will, is like a circle, but then those poles are like a little bit out of the circle, making like little points. So it's like you're protected there. At least in the N64 one.
Nice.
No, you're right. I know exactly. Like, there's one of them. It has. I know. Yes, you're right. That's the words.
All right.
Yes. I did that too.
Does
Easy
anyone
way
else
to avoid dying.
have thoughts on DLC? Or next question?
I think we can do our next question.
All right.
I did find a question that would be easy to answer.
All right. Go, Ilya.
Okay.
Pick your question.
So,
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.